Today I watched a news from VTV24 is that they showed there's a new type of searching form called ChatGPT, right?
Because I also heard about that for a week now when I read some news or articles on Facebook, and they tell a lot about the benefit and also the drawback of this kind of program.
Well, I see about the chat GPT, and at first, when they kind of showed a video on the news that there's a robot which is very smart, I thought at first it's like a real robot, just like the famous robot Sophia. You know her, right? She's a human now, and I thought, oh, it's a real robot. So it cost a lot because I thought of the Boston Dynamics when I talked to you that rat robot can help us around the house, right? And it costs like about 2 billion domes. So for this robot at first, I thought it's a real robot, but in fact, it is no other alike than Google, except it is not yet developed and it is a little bit similar to Google, which is also a type of tool for us to do some research. We type the questions and it will appear the answers for us, but not as developed as Google.
Yes, of course, because all the information is just update until the 2021, and also the document store is not full, is not very um, as full as Google, because there are some still information that it haven't been updated yet.
Yeah, sure. And when you said that it's only updated to 2021, like if we ask the chat some questions like how's the weather today or what's the day today, it will not be able to answer that.
Yes.
Instead, it will go around answering some nonsense.
Yeah, and so like Google, it takes too many time to have a very huge document store like now. So I think the ChatGPT will take a lot of time to be like that. And also nowadays, the Google like it updates day by day, it updates in a minute. So when we find some information a minute or an hour ago, it's still appear on Google, but the ChatGPT not like that because it's not developed yet.
Well, like Google updated every single second,
Yes.
actually, because like every single second or every hour there's a new type of news on Google. And I saw that like the Chat GPT, of course, it does have some advantage is that there are apps like for example, if we type in there and we want to write an essay or do a math problem, like take example of an essay maybe. So they will make it up on their own. The Chat GPT will make it up and there are absolutely no plagiarism because like I think on Google they have a variety of essays which from their own or from the other students that written them. So like there are a lot of advantages and disadvantages because on the chat GPT, even though it's not plagiarism, it's only one. So if all the students search on this, so all the students will have the same essay. But on Google, even though it's like a little bit plagiarism, but there are a lot of choices.
We can change. Maybe when we are writing some essays, we can like copy a bit of this and a bit of that and make to a different passage.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. What do you think are the advantages of this chat GPT?
The disadvantage?
Advantage first.
The advantage. So there's a lot of advantage when we're talking about AI and so the GPT. Firstly, you can have it like answering some question that we're not for sure. But we cannot believe 100% on that because some information is still wrong. And so secondly, it will like for me, I think the advantage is not too much. It's just a field, but that is the one. that is the ones, and I cannot think of another things besides like finding document and try to find an answer.
Like this reminds me of a website called Replica. I told you, right? It's a little bit different.
Yes.
It's like
It also a chat, but it not for finding some information. But when so with you, if you can like it not appear in Vietnam yet, but if you can like open an account, so do you want to use that instead of Google?
I think I would still prefer Google because like Google is way faster. Like this afternoon we watched a video, even though it's because of the man's Wi-Fi, but I saw a lot of I understand because it's only like published last year, like a few months ago. So of course it could not be published that like developed that fast because on Google it needs like years and years and years for it to be like now. So I definitely think that on the ChatGPT it will need to develop a lot more. And plus, like I saw some news that Google now they post a warning sign that maybe Google will vanish because of the intelligent chat GPT. But I don't think that'll ever happen though because we already knew that it will take years and years for the chat GPT to compete with Google, right? It took more years. And plus, on this chat, just my opinion though, I think people are kind of like treated that a little bit differently since they said it's called AI. For sure, it is AI because they answer us, right? It's not like Google. But I see it's no big difference from Google except it's just a research tool.
Yeah, it just a research tool, and also it sometimes it have a very funny thinking. I see that many students and also people they think that they can use this to pass the exam, but I think it's not as easy as that. And also beside many advantage, it also have some like big drawback, and I think the biggest drawback is it will make many people lose their job because together with the technology coming up and develop. Mm, for example, when robot appear, so um, the worker like will lost their job because robot is faster than them, and when another technology appear, many job will like disappear.
That's true, but you know, it has two sides on that. You maybe were right, but I think of something else that could maybe compete with your like ideas. Like maybe, yeah, like nowadays people will lose their jobs easily and it'll be a disaster. But if we did not develop technology, then it will be very old. So it has both sides on
Yeah,
that.
they have to balance that. But I see on some articles and video like their interview, they said that when the chat and GPT appear, many author, writer, they really scared that they lost their job. But I think with the kind of job like them, I have no idea like they have to worry about because all of the thing like write about some fiction, some novel, some story, and it up to their imagine and also the idea. And AI cannot still doing like them.
Like
They cannot write a story like them. And for example, I see that in the same topic, but a two different author, they can write a two different story. But with a chat GPT, they can just write one. So I think they have like nothing to worry
I
about
think
their job.
like yeah, they have nothing to worry about, but they should be worrying a little bit because I read the news, like I watched the news this like after dinner that they said that on Shakespeare, and he's still like he has tried that before. He tried that. Can you write five different stories based on like the telling of Shakespeare? And with about like nearly 5 seconds, the ChatGPT can write a poem or a story different from Shakespeare, but like the way of telling the story and the way of using words and grammar are exactly like Shakespeare.
Although like that it's just like the same style, but the author can change style anytime and they still have their own like their own personality on that, and that is which AI cannot do.
Yeah, I cannot do like nowadays. I saw a lot of people they write about Shakespeare style. They like copy Shakespeare style and they write their own story. And if just if the Chat GPT, oh GPT, yeah, it's right, GPT can make the same thing like I said at you too, then they should be worried about that a little bit.
I think this AI is the same to another program, is the drawing AI I see a lot on Facebook now. Like when you show it the real photo and it draw the AI will draw it again. But there is some funny situation where I copy from the real photo to a drawing and it make like some humiliating photos in drawing because like it cannot clearly identify which on the picture. So
Well,
that happened very funny.
that's just like a thing that TikTok made because like when you kind of like I saw people.
It's not just TikTok, it is also real. And many like their artists, they they really against this one because they said that it will like destroy their art industry because everyone have their own style, have their own personality, and they don't want the AI to do it for them.
No, I don't think it'll destroy. This is like exactly I think because this when you I see a lot of videos. This is so I saw little videos that like some girls they put two bowls on top of their chest and like it will create a very cute anime pictures. So those are just anime. It's not like different styles of drawings. They are just anime. So I think artists when they didn't draw specialized in anime, it won't be a problem because like the AI drawing is just specialized in anime. When I post like this, it will create an anime cute version of me.
But although like that, there are still many artists they not agree with this one, and they said that it will be a big problem for them.
Yeah, life isn't fair, you know. When you create a job opportunity for others, then the others will maybe miss that too. And come back to the chat GPT, it's not actually that bad because if it's wanna be developed just like Google, it'll probably take that's much as my prediction, like my hypothesis is not gonna be real. So I'm guessing it'll take like 10 more years to develop just like Google. Because I heard like this man who create the chat GPT is actually a very famous like not too famous, but a very intelligent man. I don't remember correctly his name, like Adman something. And he actually studied at Stanford University, but he kind of like dropped out of Stanford. I think it's like a great opportunity for him because Stanford is one of like the most famous school in the world, and like he dropped out, which is like the dream of everyone, like nearly everyone.
And this kind of program before it come out to the whole world, it take like 7 years to be up to now.
Yeah, and you know like a lot of people they have drawn attention because this is like from AI. It's like even though it's just a search tool, but you have to say that it's actually very intelligent for it because it's not simple as Google. Google is actually not AI. It's just people post their websites on it, and then when you search on Google, it will appear. But this is like the Chat GPT owns answer, so we have to admit that it's actually very smart because yeah, it's like made of AI, but on Google we just post like people just post their websites and pictures on it. It's not AI or anything.
Yes, I agree with that.
Well, what? So if you could like, would you like to try how the Chat GPT went? If you could try.
Yes, of course I could try, and we can try now. Even I just like have to change my location to America, then I can try. But I will like not very depending on that because I would not use that for I will prefer Google more.
I don't think that's easy. It's just change your country to America though. Like you need a lot of things. Like you have to change
No,
your phone number.
No, I have changed my phone location to China because I have to use an app in China, and I changed like successfully.
Yeah, but maybe like I don't know, maybe it could work, but it could not because I see a lot of people like now is a perfect time for people to like kind of like sell their account to other people, like sell their phone number. Yeah. So I don't think if you change maybe it could work, but maybe it could not, like 50-50. Because see, it's not as easy as just change yours. But anyway, it's just like a free service. Just changing your country.